Hi and welcome to Budget Model Railways and another little project. I'm going to talk about a few things today. This is a test that I've done to try out 2 or 3 new ideas. So worth sticking with us just while I talk through some of it, although it may just appear to be just another inglenook layout. It's actually been designed to try out a few new things that I needed to try. First off, it's built on just a floating shelf, although this is an Arrow floating shelf, and it's only 31 inches by 8.5, so it's relatively small. But in end gauge, it's enough to do the inglenook and a head shunt and a tiny bit of a fiddle yard. So I've gone away from a couple of ideas here. Normally I don't bother with a fiddle yard, I just have a head shunt. But I decided I wanted to be able to run the train out of vision a little bit, also to be able to take it off scene, and then run I've got a couple of diesel rail buses that I could just run back down into the station there. Now this one's not going to have catenary. It's going to be just for diesels and potentially one of the steam locos, but primarily the short diesels. Oh, sorry, having trouble with my tripod today. These are the 3D printed ones that we do for the Kato chassis, and that one is actually a particularly good runner. Done as a little freelance one, although it does look a bit like a sort of 1516 or some of the experimental UK ones. But this will be the usual freelance, as you can see from the buildings. Now, it's on a different kind of roofing felt. We had to put a new roof on our cabin, and we needed to buy really good quality roofing felt, and this was an offcut. And it's got quite a nice grainy texture to it, sort of black colour, so I'm quite pleased with that. I've hit too many problems in trying to ballast, and when it comes to just want reliability, this is just going to be a simple shunting layout. Usual thing applies. I know a lot of people try and tell me there's rules on inglenooks, how long the sidings are and all that. There isn't. It's what you can get in. This actually gives me about 10 or 11 wagons and a head shunt that's long enough to take a 5-wagon train to come out. It works particularly well where I use the short diesels. I can run the longer diesels. They take a bit more room. Then the idea down here, I've got a little bit of a fuel depot. That's the Hornby 00 point motor housing, reimagined as a little workshop. Now all of the track is very second hand. It's been on so many layouts I've lost count. The buildings here came from my spares box. I'm just going to pause this a second and try and get a better angle. There we go. I keep using the tripod because people say they don't like the shake, but it makes it very difficult to get some angles. So this was, I think it's a Fowler building that I had kicking around. Wasn't up to very much. I've had to fix the guttering, repainted the roof. I've done loads of black washes to give it that kind of multi-tonal effect. Rather awful green plastic originally in there, painted brown. And I'll just move this loco and train out of the way, which shows you what lovely smooth runners they are. I've had to add a bit to the state platform. You can just see the line there because the original has a separate curved platform. Then one of the big changes for me is this. I've not put goods sheds like this on hardly any of my layouts. They've all been open-sided ones so that I can see where the wagons are. But I wanted to do something different, and suddenly plonking that down, I experimented with it, and of course where I've got enough length, it's not a problem that you can't see what's in there. You simply pull the rake out and uncouple them in front of the station. And that's quite important because goods sheds actually are quite common both here and overseas in Europe, and not having them as this sort of style was causing a few problems. So I'm really pleased, quite excited for me to be able to have a proper goods shed in there. And I like that combination with the goods shed right next to the station. I'm going to have a little bit of a loading dock there, possibly a road crossing here, and it's all going to be done quite simply, all second hand again. Then one of the other changes is I'm using a Mahano controller. Now normally I obviously use our controllers. This was done for a couple of reasons. One, these. Unfortunately, I'm getting arthritis in my fingers, particularly my thumbs. And doing a lot of shunting with ours, flicking the switch backwards and forwards, can make my thumb quite sore. So I wanted to experiment with using the Mahano controller that's just got a little click backwards and forwards. It runs very smoothly and quietly on these. And there was also another reason. I said this was a bit of an experimental layout. I got this effectively new, but for a very good price, discounted. It's a fabulous looking loco, but it won't run slow on 12 volts. So I've tried running 9 volts and 5 volts through this. Now, interestingly, that will run on 5 volts on one of our controllers, but I wanted to try it on my loop layout, and that won't activate the points. So I've tried it on here at 9 volts and 5 volts, and with this controller, it's not very happy. So I would need to run it with one of our controllers and a 5 volt or 9 volt adapter. At which point the other locos don't run as happily. So it's a bit of a shame, really. I'm probably going to end up selling it because it's just too finicky as to what it will or won't run. I'd basically have to build a layout just for that loco, which I might well end up doing, because it is quite a nice loco. So there's quite a few things here that are actually different. As I say, I've got a good shed in there. I've got a different controller. It was designed to test that. I also realised on my main oval layout that the 2-yard fiddle yard that I put on it, whilst you can shunt and it's quite good fun, it's not as challenging as an inglenook. Because it's on a loop, one siding is effectively the rest of the loop, and the head shunts as long as you want. So you just end up shunting up and down, placing wagons. You don't get the, okay, I'm going to have to move this one to get that one in. So I wanted to go back to a simple shunting layout. And then this will be, as I say, 31 by 8 inches. Back scene will run sort of 2/3 of the way along. And it'll just be a nice, simple little shunting layout that I can get out when I want to do some shunting. Although the other layout I'm still very pleased with. I will still use it for shunting and running trains, especially now as it turns out that I can get so many really nice big Japanese Kato locos running around it. But these run very smoothly and quietly. Nice slow speed even over points, using the Kato chassis and that controller. So that's going to be very good. A quick shout out, I was at the Spa Valley Model Railway Show in Kent at the weekend. Very, very good show. Nice to meet some old friends. Nice to meet a few subscribers as well. Thank you for saying hello. Particularly good show. Very interesting layouts and not too many traders. A proper exhibition. And I'm hoping next weekend to get to the Dorking and Horsham show. If anybody's there, I'll try and wear my Budget Model Railways t-shirt this time, and then if you see me you can say hello. It's always good to meet people. So there we go. Although it's the standard inglenook, it was actually designed to test all sorts of things and to give me a more interesting shunting experience. So thank you as always for watching. Thank you as always for commenting. If you enjoy what we do, please spread the word. We get a lot more views when somebody shares and finds us outside of YouTube. So it'd be great if you've stuck with us for 8 minutes. If you like what we do, please promote the videos as much as you can, and let's spread the word as much as we can about doing things on the cheap. So this is going to be quite a nice looking layout, very compact, all done second and third hand. Haven't actually spent any money on it yet. It's all been stuff I've had kicking around. So there we go. Thank you as always for watching. Hopefully see some of you. I'm going to be there on Sunday, I think, Dorking and Horsham. Hopefully catch up with a few of you then.